Welcome to Heat Up Your Retreats, the podcast where purpose meets planning and God-sized dreams come to life through transformational travel experiences. I'm your host, Amanda Heater, CEO of Across the Horizon Travel, retreat strategist, and passionate believer in using travel as a tool for impact. Whether you're a coach, pastor, wellness leader, or change maker, ready to lead your first or even your next retreat, you're in the right place. Let's turn your vision into a powerful, profitable, and spirit-led retreat experience. Let's heat things up together. Welcome back to Heat Up Your Retreats, the podcast where we help leaders, coaches, and visionaries create transformational retreat experiences that change lives, including their own. I am your host, Amanda Heater, and today's conversation is going to be powerful because we're stepping into the intersection of conscious leadership, personal transformation, and meaningful impact. Today, I'm joined by someone who has been helping people raise their awareness for over 20 years. He is a mentor, entrepreneur, and the host of the Conscious Consultant Hour. Please welcome Sam Liebowitz. Sam helps people look at life through a holistic lens in business, relationships, spiritual growth, and personal awakening. And he's known for bringing grounded wisdom into real life conversations. Sam, I am so excited to have you here. Welcome to Heat Up Your Retreats.
Oh, thank you so much, Amanda. I so appreciate you having me on your show and giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
You are so welcome. So I want to dive into it. I know that you're going to have lots of nuggets of wisdom to share with the audience today. And so you are actually known as the Conscious Consultant. So
Mhm.
what was the defining moment where you realized your work was about more than business and really about consciousness and transformation?
Yeah, it was really kind of funny because I never in a million years looked at myself as a healer, a consciousness person per se, although I was interested in the topics. But I had been on this path where I was learning all these different energy healing modalities. Not to become a healer, but just for my own healing, because I had some really challenging experiences early in life. And like most people, I just kind of drifted around. I didn't really know what to do. And then I started learning one technique and then another and then another. And then there was that one workshop where you learn the technique and then they pair you up and you practice on each other. And so I got an opportunity to practice on this woman who wasn't feeling well. She said her lungs were all congested. She felt like she was coming down with the flu. And I did this technique, a form of instant energetic healing. And when I finished the technique, I just looked at her and so, how do you feel? She looks at me with these big eyes and she goes, "Oh my God, I can breathe." And I go, "Oh, that's nice. That's good." She goes, "No, no, no, you don't understand. Listen to this." And she takes this deep breath. "You hear that?" And I go, "Yeah, wonderful." She goes, "Yeah, there's no congestion." And I go, "Great." And she goes, "No, you don't understand. I've had chronic bronchitis since I was 6 years old in South Africa. I've been able to breathe like this since I was a little kid." And I was just like, "Oh, oh, oh." And the light bulb goes off and it's like, "Oh, like this is just for me to help myself. Like I can actually use this stuff that I'm learning to help other people." But I'm like thinking to myself, and afterwards I was meditating on it. It's like, but I'm a business coach and mentor. I'm an entrepreneur. What do you do with this? And just the message kind of came in. Well, you're still kind of a consultant. You're just a different kind of consultant now. And that's kind of where the message of the conscious consultant got born. And so I'm like, okay, I guess if this is what I'm supposed to do, I put it up on my LinkedIn profile. I contacted a bunch of friends, said, "Hey, look, I'll give you a free session with this modality I'm doing if you give me a testimonial." Did a bunch of sessions, got testimonials, created a website, and started putting myself out there and haven't looked back since.
Wow, that's so inspiring. I bet during this experience, because like I'm hearing this and thinking about how you were helping heal someone, you probably thought, wow, this is so supernatural. Like, how did this happen? But are you still connected with this woman? That is
I
honestly
actually,
mind blowing.
I do these healing ceremonies with my wife now, and she actually came on Friday to our ceremony. So, yeah, we're
Oh,
really good friends. And this was yeah, like 15, 20 years ago that it happened.
oh my goodness. That is so amazing. I love that you're still connected with her. So cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Sam, I know you talk a lot about awareness and conscious living. What do
Mm.
you think most leaders or even retreat hosts are missing when they try to create transformational experiences?
So when it comes to transformational experiences, there are two sides to it. There's the expectation from the leader, and there's the expectation from the people. And so the people who attend these, really retreats that give them peak experiences and tremendous things, they think like, oh, this is wonderful. I want to be in a peak state all the time. You can't be in a peak state all the time. That wouldn't be a peak state. And then the leaders are like, oh, I just got to get them through my retreat and then everything's going to be good. But it's never just going through the retreat. It's the integration. And this is something I'm talking a lot about lately, is integrating the peak experiences. Because if
Hmm.
you don't take what you've experienced and bring it into your day-to-day life and use it to help you make different decisions, show up differently, make different choices, then okay, it was a nice weekend, but so what? You had some fun and that was it. The real gold in any peak experience is the integration. And that's where I feel people need more support. And I feel people who lead retreats don't have enough of a follow-up. They don't have a program for people to, now that they've had this experience, to now take it and get support for the day-to-day stuff.
Hmm. 100%. Wow. So, you have worked with a lot of people that on their personal growth journeys, obviously
Hmm.
doing this for 20 years plus.
Hmm.
What patterns do you see that keep people stuck even when they want to change?
There's a lot of things. I'm going to talk about it from the mind first and then from the body aspect. So from the mind aspect, the first thing is that I see all too often is we keep telling ourselves the same stories over and over again.
Hmm.
It's like when we were younger and we were kids and we had some experience and we made some meaning out of that experience. And the story that comes from that meaning, we just keep living into and repeating to ourselves over and over and over again. And as long as we keep saying and telling ourselves the same story over and over again, then we're not going to change. So you have to kind of interrupt that pattern and start telling a different story.
Hmm.
Now, it's you really need some experiences to support telling the different story, which is why I believe in group healing work so much, because most of our trauma is caused by other people. So in order for our healing to truly have an effect, it needs to involve other people as well. That's from the mind point of view. But from the body point of view, the energy of the experiences we've been through is really trapped inside our body until we really are present to it. So the shame, the anger, the fear, the, 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 the sadness, the rage, it's all in there. But in this society, we're constantly get all these messages about not showing our emotions, especially men, right? Men don't cry. And even women are afraid to show their emotions to other people because they'll get judged for it. Oh, see how emotional she is. And so there's all this judgment around feeling and expressing our emotions, which is the most unhealthy aspect of our society. So the stuff is all stuck in our body And until we dive in and feel what we haven't felt for decades, until we get in there and make some room and some space for this energy so we can breathe and have a little compassion for that little boy or little girl who was so frightened that they hid under their bed or in the closet or whatever your story happens to be, like having some compassion and being a little more gentle and not trying to shock our system into something different. There's so much there that I don't believe in releasing things and exercising things, letting things go. It's more about metabolizing it because that experience is always going to live with us. And if we can give it some space and some tenderness and some compassion, it can live with us and inform us without controlling us.
Mm,
And then we can hold it in a way that we can make better decisions, show up in a better way, be a better example for the people around us, but it's still in here. It's always in here. And that's okay. And when we can come to that place of acceptance and that place of compassion for ourselves and all we've been through, then life starts to change around us.
it's so good. As you're talking about this, like how you're saying that you don't really tell people necessarily to let it go. And I agree with you on that because we have to learn from our mistakes. And if we just try to forget the past, how are we ever going to learn and process how to respond to things differently? For me, something that I love to do is journaling. And I love just like writing down my thoughts, writing down emotions that I'm feeling, especially when I'm in a very heightened state of like very excited or
Mhm.
very sad or very angry, to release those.
Right.
And it helps. It really does when you're journaling, especially if you're not like I work from home and I'm by myself most of the time. And
Right.
it's just nice to have feel like not necessarily you're talking to something, but you're releasing those emotions from your body. And it feels so good to write it down. So I always
Well,
encourage people to journal.
let me just tweak your language a little bit because it's not so much that you're releasing the emotions, but you're giving a voice to those emotions. By writing
Yes.
down what you're feeling, you're acknowledging those emotions. And by that acknowledgement, you give them more space, so now they don't control you anymore. Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean you're never going to feel angry or upset or mad. It just means now there's more internal space for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. I like that a lot better. Okay, so one thing that I've noticed in very powerful retreat leaders is obviously their presence, not in just what they teach, but how they show up. So,
Right.
how does someone develop that kind of grounded presence to show up as a powerful retreat leader?
Mm. I remember one time I went to this retreat up in Vancouver, Canada, and the gentleman, a wonderful, wonderful guy, when he shows up in the room, and for the first 10 minutes, maybe, all he did was look and stare in each person's eyes,
Whoa.
making contact. And it was such a powerful moment. Sometimes it's just about giving space to give the opportunity to be present. But why was he able to do that? Because he had told us he had spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe close to $1 million on personal development and spiritual development. And the only way we can show up and be more present is doing our own inner work. And like I said, being present to the emotions, the feelings, what we've been through in life, being uncomfortable, because nobody wants to be uncomfortable. But until we allow ourselves to feel those uncomfortable feelings, they're always there. And when we don't acknowledge them and don't make space for them, they're constantly controlling us. And how can you be present if you're in a perpetual fight, flight, freeze, fawn mode? The way to get out of that is is to really connect to our hearts, connect to our bodies, befriend the mind, bring in our spirit to support us to be able to be present to all of that. It takes, in my humble opinion, in my, over 20 years experience, it takes working with a guide, a professional, a therapist, a coach, whoever works for you, an energy healer. It takes working with somebody else who can see your shit and call you on it in a loving and gentle way and support you through the process. It takes time. The body doesn't usually move as quickly as the mind moves. Like we can get an insight like that. But for that insight to really sink in and integrate it into our bodies and our nervous system can take a little bit of time. I, I've also really come over the years to so much more appreciate the somatic approach to doing things. I recently just took a form of somatic touch therapy called transforming touch, where you're supporting just different parts of a person's body, of their nervous system to help to unwind that developmental trauma and that fear and those long held, challenging experiences. And I've seen how when you really work on the somatic, on the physical level, it helps every other aspect. It really, it helps us to settle. It helps us to be more present. It helps us to be more gentle. And then we can show up and truly live a more authentic life.
Good stuff, Sam. Whew, you're bringing the wisdom today. I love it. So, I want to dive a little bit into how you've built businesses while staying very aligned with your values and your spiritual perspective. What advice do you have for leaders that are trying to grow financially without losing their authenticity?
Well, the first thing I would say is don't focus on growing your financials. Focus on growing how much in service you are.
Mm,
Zig Ziglar decades ago said, if you help enough other people achieve their dreams, you'll never have to worry about your own. I'm a big
that's good.
believer in being a servant leader. The first thing is it's not always telling people what they need, it's asking them what they want.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about squeezing every last little dollar out of a transaction. It's providing so much value and so much support for people that they're happy to pay you what you ask for.
Yeah.
Inevitably, whenever I see people end up focusing too much on the financials and not enough on the mission, it turns into a numbers game real quick, and you either have to get these mailing lists of tens to hundreds of thousands of people, and you're constantly marketing them, and people are constantly leaving your list because they don't want to be marketed to as much. But some of those people are going to buy from you, and now it's just all a numbers game, and it's all about making the money, and it's not about serving people. And you may make the money, but you're not really going to be fulfilled. If you
Mm,
want to be fulfilled, do meaningful work. You do something
yes.
because you're passionate about it, you believe in it, and you know that providing this product or service to people is really going to help them improve their lives, give them a better experience, support them in some way. Focus on the mission and the vision. The money will come.
Mm,
You don't be stupid about it. I mean, again, I'm not saying like you don't have budgets and you don't you just spend willy-nilly and then you don't have any money left at the end of the month. No, of course not. You be smart about it. But this is why I always tell people it's a balance between the heart, the body, the mind, and the spirit. Don't leave any one of those aspects behind, because if you do, you'll suffer the consequences. But when you bring them all to everything that you do, it just makes the world that much more interesting to play in.
100%. I agree with everything you're saying. Um, like in the business that I'm in, working with the people that are wanting to plan retreats, events, things like that, I have to deep dive into a conversation with them in the beginning of what is your why? And I've had multiple people when I ask them that question go, I don't know. Okay. Well, if you don't know your why, we need to step back because it sounds like you're only seeing dollar signs of thinking of doing a retreat of getting money. If you don't know your why behind this retreat, why you're doing it, who you're serving, no, it's not going to work. It's like you said, it's going to be a numbers game. You're going to have to push, 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 constantly be trying to sell. You're probably going to get the wrong people at the retreat or event that you're planning. It's not going to be the people that you're going to be able to continue to build that relationship with because it's all about money. And I love
And
that.
people can
Just
feel it. People can
mhm.
feel it. When you're doing something just for money, people feel it. It
Yep.
feels icky. And even if you did a hard sell and you got them in there once, they're never going to come back.
Right. You're so right. I love it. Good stuff. So, Sam, if someone's listening today and they want to elevate their impact, whether it's through retreats, it's coaching, or it's leadership, what is one mindset shift that you would encourage them to start practicing immediately?
One of the fundamental ones I always teach my clients is life happens for you, not to you. It's the shifting the mindset from being a victim to being a creator of your circumstances. And
Yeah.
if you can take responsibility for everything in your world, then you can change everything in your world. But if you say to yourself, oh, it's the economy, it's this, it's that, if you're pointing the fingers elsewhere, then you're disempowering yourself and it makes it so much more difficult to shift and change things. But when you say, oh, this didn't work out well, I wonder what did I do that this didn't work out well? And when you stay in that mindset of that you're a creator and what can you learn from this situation and how can you improve and maybe it's even as simple as I realized I created this because I was too emotionally attached to it. I really need an outside advisor, an outside person who's not emotionally attached to what I'm doing to help guide me. Sometimes it's as simple as that.
Mm.
It's okay to ask for help. We all need it.
100%. Yes. I'm learning that. I know that people, when I'm working with them, they're learning that of bringing me on. It comes with, honestly, for me, it's a lot of childhood trauma of just things being a young age. You allow someone to come in and help you, they screw up, and then you're the one that gets in trouble. So then we always think that we need to do everything. And I always say there's power in community and that when two or three come together, so many more big things can happen. And I see it happen all the time. And I love being a part of different communities where we can throw different ideas to each other and be like, maybe that's not so good, or let's kind of tweak this, or oh, that's great, but here, let's expand on this. It is so powerful. And honestly, like from this podcast recording that I've created where I'm providing that community for people to like coaching programs and all the things like that is where all of these things come from. And I'm honestly like it's just mind blowing how community can just help you grow in such amazing ways. And so, Sam, do you have any last words before we close up our episode today? Any last words to share with our viewers? And how can our listeners and viewers find you either on social media or do you have a website? What is the best
Mhm.
way for them to get in contact with you too?
So I actually just launched a new website. It's theconsciousconsultant.com. I mean, I just redesigned it. It's always been there. I also have a book that people can get if they're interested in it called Everyday Awakening. And you can go to everydayawakeningbook.com and it'll take you to the Amazon, but it's available at all major booksellers. Um, and yeah, you can always reach out to me through my website, through my radio show, the Conscious Consultant Hour. We do it every Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc. And I love to hear from people. So if you want to reach out to me, my email address is sam@theconsciousconsultant.com. And yeah, and I just want everyone to know who's listening today that if you've heard one thing that added value to your life, share it with someone else. Don't keep it a secret. Spread it around. It's these insights are like manure. The more you spread it around, the more the flowers grow.
I love it. I love it. Sam, this has been such a powerful conversation today. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your heart. For everybody that's listening, if this episode spoke to you, please take a moment to reflect on how you're showing up as a leader and what intentional space you're creating for transformation, both for others and for yourself. Make sure you connect with Sam and check out his show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, where he continues these conversations around consciousness, growth, and living with greater ease and purpose. And if you're ready to create or elevate your own retreat experience, you know where to find me. Thanks for listening to Heat Up Your Retreats. And remember, your retreat isn't just an event. It's a catalyst for transformation. I'll see you next time. Bye, friends. Thank you for tuning in to Heat Up Your Retreats. I hope today's episode sparked fresh inspiration and reminded you that your retreat vision is meant to be realized. Are you ready to take the next step? Please send me an email at amanda@acrossthehorizontravel.com with the subject line of strategy session, and let's start building a transformational retreat that aligns with your mission. Be sure to follow, share, and leave a review so more leaders like you can heat things up too. Until next time, keep dreaming big, keep planning bold, and keep heating up your retreats.